Hello and welcome back. We are in the finale of Recipe for Turnabout, which is the third case of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, which we are playing tribute to currently. We're in the home stretch. Last time we fought against the dishonest chef, Jean Armstrong, and now we are to face the ferocious tiger himself, Furio Tiger, lone shark extraordinaire. Let's figure out what actually happened, shall we? Oh, that's right. Godot said he only needed 30 minutes to get Mr. Tiger, so we were in recess, or we are in recess now. So, we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. And I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know. But if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal! Did you come to give me evidence? Detective Gumshoe! What are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end. Hey, that's the pot calling the kettle black, little Miss Topknot. It's not a topknot! Never mind about the hair, just calm down, alright? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kinda get wound up. Ah! No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour. An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour? You bet! In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? Oh hey, we get to look at our court record, because I always forget to do that for you guys. So we got our attorney's badge, the Magatama, our sports paper with the MC Bomber written on it, of course the article about my trouncing, the job listings from the old man, the lunch special, which is disgusting, the scooter from my phony, the loan contract, Victor's testimony about the vase, the floor plans, the autopsy report, the crime photo, the coffee cup, the lottery ticket, the apron, the poison, the prescription bag, the calendar that says meet with the tiger that we used to prove that he was, in fact, he knew the tiger. We've got, of course, all of our stuff from the tender lender, which is the fake badge, MC Bomber. Then we got the radio flyer, the lunch... we still have that. The medical papers for Viola. The matches found in tender lender. And this would be the thing that we would want to give him, because the fingerprints are unidentified. But this was the victim's ear medication found in the kitchen. So, take that. If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh hey, that's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of who these prints belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, it's been gnawing at me too. But wouldn't it just be the victims? I don't understand. I don't remember that. I don't remember that being anything important, but I guess it is. I don't know. Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Gumshoe. Thanks. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio tiger? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job, no problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tiger, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful. He still bites. Cool. Very well. Please show Mr. Tiger to the stand. He's a pleasant person. Witness, please state your name and... Aha! Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me down there, too. What'd you say to me? Nothing. I didn't say nothing, honest. Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge? I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. It was, the judge... Your Honor? Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my... Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as usual. That's it. We're doomed. Maybe you just didn't hear me. I said, who was it that called me in here? There's no need to shout. We can all hear you. What'd you say? There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. Look at Godot keeping his cool. And I'm the one that hauled you in. It's too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct? Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, mask boy. You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird? Maggie who? I've got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then? And please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Phoenix, right. You's the one who said deserve, didn't you? He's gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying? Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Get a grip, Nick! Alright. Let's start simple here. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all my time in the office. Got whales lined up to borrow cash from Tetherlander every single day. You just want to check my alibi, just ask Violetta. At last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination. What is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting out like that. I know the kind of games that the guy in the blue plays. Uh-oh. Oh no, is this gonna be one of those, like, you can only press or present on one statement things? That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins. Lowlife? Me? Listen up, smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000 and you're gonna borrow the cash from me. That's one loan contract I refuse to sign. Don't think I ain't gonna hurt when you get tangled with a tiger. Ha. I love good spectator sport. Just a minute. No, that's really not. This witness is, how could I put it, a hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's heads off. Yours too. Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. Yous better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. Court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick! Come out from under there already, would you? Okay. So the whole press everything doesn't work. Tied up with business, spent all my time in the office, got whales lined up to borrow cash. Honestly, I don't think any of this is important. I think this is the important one. Because he's claiming another person. So... By Violetta, you're talking about the Cadaverini families. Yeah. You don't want to cross them, or you's gonna wind up sleeping with the fishes. Once the Godfather finds out you've been dragging Violetta through the mud, he'll do you in. Sorry, I couldn't quite pull it all together toward the end there. He said that just like Viola, didn't he? I get a feeling this might not be the right time to probe him about her. Why do you have that feeling? Why do you have that feeling, Nick? Because this is my only chance here. Wait. Will it always give me this option of pressing harder or leaving it? Because I might get the opportunity later if I press something earlier. Well, no, because none of the other statements were important. Yeah, I'm pressing. Mr. Tiger, what do yous want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. Yeah, I guess you would then. It's a dead end, Triton, you know it. Remember the rules. Okay. Pressing the witness without evidence to back up your attack is prohibited. Okay, alright, fine. Ouch, the pain. Now then, Mr. Tiger, would you mind repeating your testimony from the beginning? My team ain't free, you hear? You just better remember that. If I miss the bus, somebody's gonna pay. Okay. Alright, so I get the feeling then I can press everything. But then when it comes to that point where it's like, don't say anymore, that's whenever it's a problem. I don't buy that you haven't even heard of the incident that occurred at Tribulations. He's got a big mouth, right? He's trying to say I was in on some mob hit? Is that what you're trying to say? Where's your proof, then? Evidence, yes, well... For an attorney to make an accusation in court, he must have evidence. That's from loan shark to lawyer, a beginner's guide, yeah? Ah, I see you're the studious type, Mr. Tiger. Very good. Ha. Why don't you ask him to represent you sometime, Trite? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna leave it for now, but I think I'm on the path here about... He had to have heard about the murder, because he was my phony. And he was the one who represented Maggie on the first trial. Or maybe I can just press harder now, because he was my phony, and he's the one who represented Maggie earlier. I have evidence of that. I have the fake badge. I'm gonna... Yep, nope, I knew I was gonna regret that. Sorry, okay. I'm just gonna... This particular testimony is gonna kill me. It's terrible. Okay. Don't know anything about a murder. Was tied up with business, spent all my time in the office. Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know. You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is. Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini? She writes everything in my schedule. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says. So that's where I was. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Oh, duh. This seems like a rather sketchy schedule. There he goes again. But the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder, which I have evidence for. Sorry, I know I'm just keep pressing harder, but I actually have evidence for this one. Which is this, where it says meet with the tiger. So I can actually prove something here. What do you want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. I know that this isn't a dead end, because it's not letting me skip ahead. It's not letting me press the B button to accelerate the text, so I know I'm doing the right thing. Yes! There it is. No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too? Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. Never set foot outside. Had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please. Mr. Tiger, the court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. Okay. This is my proof. Mr. Tiger, you claim you don't know Mr. Glen Elg, but it appears that Mr. Elg knew you. What? Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the Tiger. Dated December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tiger, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glen Elg, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Did he really think he was going to get away with that? Not bad. He's actually not bad. Sorry. I was just messing with you to see how good you were. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You's calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing? Uh-oh. So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. You'd better believe that that's the truth. Ha. Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tiger. Yes, would you mind indulging the court witness? You never actually met the victim? That's got to be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. I don't know, we're pretty early into this particular part of the trial for me to be ready to nail him. I ain't no liar, I never met Glen Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. Set up a meeting with a guy in my office, tender lender. Waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't never ever been to that Tribulations joint. You see here? There it is. That's the problem. That's the one I knew about, though. And that I remembered the moment that I found the piece of evidence. I see. That all seems pretty logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you. Right. I think I already owe him 100,000. Based on my health bar. So, the problem that we have right now is that he's never been to Tribulations. We've got some evidence that says otherwise. Also, I just noticed something as he's nodding. It's super scary, like right at the bottom of his nod, his eyes are just pitch black. I mean, I think it's supposed to be a shadow, but whoo! It's spooky. Okay. Mr. Tiger, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What are you talking about? We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant. Nah. If you've really never been to Tribulations before, what was the book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk? You've been snooping around my stuff now too, wise guy? What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me. Order, order. Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Sorry, I'm terribly sorry, forgive me. I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day. What? But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Yeah, everything you say is a lie, dude. How are we supposed to believe you? Why is the burden of proof still on me after this guy has lied twice now? Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elg that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. He has the motive. Supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out all over the table, stiff as concrete. Figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cops' sirens on my way out, so I went straight back to my office. Okay. I see, you didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Hold it, if I wait around here any longer, I ain't gonna make my normal express. No more stupid questions. No problem. Anytime Trite presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir. Special Express ain't cheap, right? Just so yous know since yous payin'. Oh, man. Doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Okay. Supposed to meet the kid. When you opened the door, you saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. If the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cops' sirens on my way out and went straight back to my office. So, it's very cut and dry. I wonder if it has anything to do with the... floor plans? Oh, yeah. Yeah, when he opened the door, he would not have seen the kid. So where is the... Okay, I know what the issue is. It's that he couldn't have seen him if he opened the door. So I'm gonna press this, and hopefully they cue me to use evidence to say, hey, you couldn't have seen it. Wish me luck. An ugly scene? What do you mean? The witness has already told us, Trite, which makes that question irrelevant. Yeah, no, that's a problem. I limit myself to 17 cups of coffee during a trial. That's the rule. You better limit the number of times you take a penalty, Trite. Or your guts will look like the inside of a chimney. Ashen. Okay. Cool. Okay. I think they're saying that I know what the scene was. So I don't need that, so I'm gonna present then. Okay. Alright, I know what I'm doing. I just didn't have to press it first, like I did last time. Where I had to actually press it before I presented. You're something of a lone collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tiger? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie-detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we get something straight. What's this, Trite? A new line of irrelevant questioning. These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tiger. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this. Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Why, that's true. Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. Ooh, he nervous now. I like when they start to sweat like that. It's like, yes, I'm on a roll. I can do this. There's light at the end of the tunnel. So from the entrance of Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day. Because you met with him.
Objection!
Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. but the defense just proved the point to be moot. The victim, witnessed by Mr. Kudo, was not Glenn Elg, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade. That will do. And this trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glenn Elg, and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Victor Kudo? In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. I love how they act as though I don't know at this point. Like, I've been saying it. He's been saying it forever. Obviously, the killer is Furio Tiger. No one else could have done it. What? Well, witness? Yeah, haha. Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is king of the jungle. So I dares you to say that again. Come on, you got the guts. You can't threaten me, Mr. Tiger. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright? Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You've got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, do not leave me to handle this alone. Ha. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Godot. Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no, no, no. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee. Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Ha! Found your pen at last, Trite? It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenn Elg, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright. I think the conclusion is obvious. If the Glenn Elg was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible that the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Ms. Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Who was the waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed? This should be somewhat apparent as well. Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tenderlender. You's making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean. Stop shaking, Nick! Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Ms. Bird, had stated the following. Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had a kind of cackling laugh. Yeah, remember her saying that to us? There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Ms. Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when the eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice. Once for real, and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tiger, the only person who could have committed the crime, was you. Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry. He's alright. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have a charter jet to get me out to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about? He's got it all wrapped up nice, all right? But he's missed out on one real important thing. But that can't be. I was in the joint that day, and I met the kid, too. But I couldn't have poisoned him. He's here. Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tiger? That's what I've been saying. Ha. What a troublemaker. Troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. How many testimonies is this guy gonna give? One more seeming cup of hot testimony. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim? Ooh, one more chance. Really? Is that for real? Am I going to end this now? Yeah, I loaned El cash. About $100,000. That day, he was due to have a little chat. Get his paid back date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won! $500,000! He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over. Okay. Oh, please let me press. Now I see that principal amount that you owned to Mr. Elg was $50,000. Yeah, well, he's got the vig to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know. That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was the one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case. What's motive? He has to have one, but what is it? Can I press him? I wasn't warned not to press him this time. Can I press him? I'm making sure that I'm allowed to press him. So the tiger was meeting Glenn Elg to get his money back. If Mr. Elg had just given him the lottery ticket, that would have been the end of it. Yeah, so what's the tiger's motive? It's the big one. If I don't manage to undermine his testimony, it's all over for us. Why would he have to poison Mr. Elg? And why did he loan him the money in the first place, when he knew he couldn't repay him? Oh! Well, that's a different information. I didn't know that he loaned it whenever he knew he couldn't repay it. That adds even more to the motive. Of course, I know what the motive is because I've played this case before. But also, I think that I think you guys might know what the motive is. I just have to figure out how to prove it. Let's press this. Did he have any way of paying the loan back? The fool was a gambler. He said he couldn't give it up till he landed a big win. So I agreed to help him. Help him? You? Kept hitting him with ideas for ways he could get a big win. But the guy kept losing. So you were helping him for his sake or yours? Win through compromise. Yous help me, I help yous. What's the difference, huh? I don't believe this. Nick, would anyone really ever loan money to someone they thought was unreliable? Like, for example, if it were you, I'd only loan you $5, max. Thanks a lot, Maya. Okay, so that's where it says that, he knew that he wouldn't be able to pay it back. So how much were you expecting him to pay you back on that day? What'd you think? The whole package, $100,000, including interest. It's a real heavyweight punch. Once a client messes up repayment, you call the whole loan in. You want to make it in my world? That's all you've got to do. That's all you've got to know. And how many times has Mr. Elk been late with his repayments? Once. And how much was he supposed to pay back every month? $50. Sounds like Mr. Elg was in a real sticky spot. Yeah, $50 a month, he'd never pay that huge loan off. He's got no way to pay up. How much did he have left on his debt? You want it in round figures? About $100,000. That's the whole amount. We're talking about a guy who had 58 cents in his wallet. What? You telling me he wasn't even going to pay for the coffee? Maybe he already did, and that's why he only had 50. Oh, no, I don't think so. He certainly seems to have been a brave man, this Mr. Elg. That guy was smooth, I tell you. He's real smooth. You'll have your money in less than 5 minutes. That's what he says to me. The guy then calls me Tender Tiger. He was skating on thin ice with me. Was that because the guy won the lottery? It was his last chance at a big win. And you can confirm that this is the ticket in question? That's it. The Millionaire radio show starts at 1:30 p.m. and runs for 10 minutes. Now that fixes the time you two met with some accuracy. And the whole scene was acted out again 30 minutes later. Also that Mr. Kudo would see it. I can still see the kid's face now. I ain't ever gonna forget it. Was there anyone else in the restaurant at the time? I don't remember. If there was no one there, I'll wear that ridiculous tiger shirt for a month. Mr. Armstrong, Maggie, and if I'm right, Viola Cadaverini were all there at that time. So the victim had intended to repay you from his lottery winnings from the beginning? Seems that way to me. But you wouldn't normally expect to win the lottery, would you? Ha. The undying belief that your next roll will end the worst losing streak you've ever had. That's what defines a true gambler. He makes it sound so cool. Don't be tempted, Nick. You haven't got the willpower for it. All I know is the kid took a shot and he got lucky in the end. The waitress, you mean the girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair? Who else would I mean? If she hadn't gotten in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with. Maybe I should just push a little on this. We're not going to ask what Maggie did, because we know what Maggie, or what he says, what he's going to say Maggie did. How would things have been? What do you mean things would have been over and done with? Are you all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way. As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tiger had no motive for killing the victim. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect what you just said. Tiger's motive, huh? Are you saying you had no other motives that day? Yeah, so what? Then why didn't you take the lottery ticket when you left? What'd you think? 'Cause of Four Eyes over there. Because of Maggie? How about you go ask Four Eyes about that $500,000 ticket? She wanted it so bad. She poisoned Elg's coffee. A likely theory. Your word hasn't held water lately, Mr. Tiger. Let's not forget this witness was actually at the scene, Trite. The law don't exactly agree with some of the deals I send down. I couldn't be there when the cops showed up, so I split. I see. Your Honor. The witness's last few statements are worth a good 2 cups of coffee. Well, Mr. Wright, are you happy with the testimony, or would you like it amended? Sure. I'm not going to get anywhere with the testimony as it stands. Your Honor, the defense would like the testimony amended. Very well. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect your recent statements. Okay, and then whenever I press that, he's gonna do... I'm gonna get to amend it again. So, the problem is that there was more to it than that. And I need to somehow prove it. The tiger's trying to pin the crime on Maggie. If I ask him about what he saw, it's only going to damage our case. What do you mean things would have been over and done with? You's all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back. That's all. I'm a businessman. It's the same thing that he said before. no motive for killing victim. Mr. Wright, are you happy with the testimony, or would you like it amended? Okay, I think... Do I show the CD now? Because he's just gonna say I don't have another reason to kill the guy. Okay, cool. Alright. I thought that I was leaping ahead in logic because I know the case, but I guess that's where the game wanted me to go anyway. So you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elg owed you, correct? I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right. Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were after.
Objection!
What are you getting at, Trite? What else would a moneylender be after than money? Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch. What is that? A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber. A computer virus? What does one of those do? Computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer. A computer? What does one of those do? I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Several $1 million? Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glenn Elg had no way to repay the money is crucial. What? Glenn Elg was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money. Nervous face.
Objection!
You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to get hold of that program. Exactly. The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, Trent. A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder. Of course he could, provided he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tiger need the money to the tune of $1 million? Well, that's easy, Judgy. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery. Where did you get all this info? These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. Payment for these expenses was due in December of last year and was paid in full. $1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should use those HMOs. Ha. No one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue. But Mr. Tiger had no choice but to pay. Because his very life depended on it. Order. You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright. Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini. Did you say Cadaverini? I've only mentioned her like 5 times. Maybe 3. I might be exaggerating. I think it was 3. Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all the underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glenn Elg's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tiger's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elg had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tiger knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tiger would prefer to say never happened, but he can't. Neither can I. The lottery win. Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tiger with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. So he resorted to illegitimate means. That's crazy. He murdered Glen Elg and then made his next move to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tiger posed as Glen Elg, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Bird. And they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo. Objection. Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept out of it. But Mr. Armstrong knew all about it. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money, too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tiger's plan. Order. In silence, or I will clear the court. You just put on a good show, Spiky. If you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something slobby like that. I agree. What? Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out. What, another one, Mr. Wright? Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? What was this trick you say Mr. Tiger performed to frame the accused? Wait a second. Is it the badge? Oh no! I think it is the badge. It's not the article, it's the badge. Take that! What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such childish imitation. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tiger, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Except for the spiky hair, maybe. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here, this very court, a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I have ever seen. Objection. Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Hey. Forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that, not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir? This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite here in court, we deal with people's lives. Mr. Godot is right. Your Honor, speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by a memory without evidence to support it. Now! If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tiger are dubious for sure, but not conclusive. But you've come so far! You say he impersonated Glen Elg. You say he impersonated you, but none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee. Ha! Sucks to be you, right? Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get mauled. You's got that? Yeah, all we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. Ha! Looks like I won't be needing a refill. If I just had one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook. This witness's cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tiger. Your Honor, sir. Wait! Still shot image. Different art than the sprite art. Detective Gumshoe to the rescue. I don't know what the medication is going to do to help us right now, but who knows. Detective Gumshoe. Sorry it took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this too. What is it, Detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence. What? Alright, Detective. What do you got for me? Oh, I must have called a recess because it was so loud in there. Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab. The results? About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle. Oh, so do you know who the prints belong to now? Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know. So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it. You bet. Clear as crystal, all over the bottle. They're Furio Tiger's paw prints, alright. That's great, we've got them now, Nick. Again, this has nothing to do with anything. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on that bottle now. What? Why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glen Elk's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now. I knew it. Great. No matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use. Hey, don't be so hard on yourself. This is our last chance to help Maggie. And I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal. Detective Gumshoe? Maggie! You've been working on something for me? Sorry I let you down, Maggie. I know you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now. Detective Gumshoe, wait! He's gone. Isn't there anything we can do now, Nick? I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. I remember this last part. So I'm just gonna play it out and see how it goes. See how you guys enjoy the ending of this case. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? I granted you a recess so you can prepare this decisive evidence you've discovered. Yes. Don't keep us all in suspense, Trite. Show us. Naturally. We can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we? Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste. How much more of my time he's gonna waste? I ain't been to no court before. And yous lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion. No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright. Well, I know I can't prove anything new with this evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here, but maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit. Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present this final decisive piece of evidence to the court. Well, it's the only one that we can. Take that! This is the defense's final piece of evidence. Isn't that the victim's? Your Honor. Naturally, the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tiger. What? But, Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information? Everyone in here knows what this bottle contains. Except one man, one person in this courtroom, should theoretically be in the dark. My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle? Is that what you saying? Well, what's in it anyway? A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tiger, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains... This is the bottle containing the potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide? The poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tiger, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that? You'd make a good clown, you know that? What? This ain't never gonna get this to stick. He's just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the Tiger? A bluff? I can see straight through you, Phoenix Wright. That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it. No. This is the bottle we found traces of the poison in. Don't mess with the Tiger or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown and it was made of glass. That cheap piece of trash. Don't look nothing like it. Got him. At last. What? Why's everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle. Is this the bottle you're referring to? Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle the cyanide was in. But yous ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy-looking suit fool you people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Cadeau. Tell that guy where to go. You still haven't figured it out. Don't you realize what you just said? What I said? What did I just say? You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now, you slipped up in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison. You just don't know who you's messing with. I'm the Tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped-up suit get the better of me? Sure. The last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. A phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all played out by you, the biggest phony of all. What's going on? Looks like a blackout. Well done, trite. I saved my 17th cup of coffee just for you. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah. Savor it. while you watch your caged prey. Right, you caught a tiger by his toe, but if this one hollers, he won't be let go. The prosecution will be sure to take care of Mr. Tiger, won't you, Mr. Godot? He's being arrested on suspicion of the murder of Glen Elm, Your Honor. Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. Yes, she was. And in the absence of a genuine evidence. But the tiger made one mistake. Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Furio Tiger is a truly frightening criminal. Ha. The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Godot. Well, I'm now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant Maggie Bird not guilty. Yay! Confetti, happiness, cheer. That is all. The court is adjourned. Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago, but now I feel like I can forgive him. Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger. Look, Nick, in the doorway. Detective Gumshoe. Oh, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around, pal. Wait! Detective Gumshoe? Oh yeah. Congratulations, Maggie. Thanks. I knew you were innocent all along. Why didn't you say that in your testimony then? Huh? Oh, well, I was... Well, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around. Wait up, detective! He just ran off. Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him that we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even any use. But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles. Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him. Can't you put in a good word for him, Nick? Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie? You know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all this. I wanted to believe that, sir. But on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up. He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts. He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it. I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I know. I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Fills the stomach with love and plenty of weenies. Tenderly handmade lunchbox. Take that! Here you are. A present to celebrate your freedom. That's a present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love. He said you lost weight and was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies. You know. Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know. Yeah, the trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it? Is it okay if I eat this now? Aw, I forgot about that still shot. So, how is it, Maggie? It's really good. So, the case of the phony versus genuine comes to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up. And who knows, maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. End of case. I like that case. I think it's fun. I think it's it doesn't have quite as many twists and turns as the previous case, but it goes through a lot, and I like the that backstory with Furio Tiger and the Cadaverinis and all of that. I love Gumshoe and Maggie's relationship. That's a lot of fun to get to. Gumshoe worries about Maggie, and Maggie, of course, is just a magnet for bad luck, it seems. So it's fun to revisit the characters and to have familiar defendants. Like we saw Maya has, been a defendant twice at this point. Maggie now has been a defendant twice. I guess technically you could say that Phoenix Wright has been a defendant twice, because he was the defendant in the second case of the first game for a short time after Maya was accused. He was then accused. And then of course, the first case of this game, where we had a little flashback going on. But anyway, yeah, I think this is a cute case. I like how it plays out. I like how it's, you're solving for this phony case, this phony thing that happened 30 minutes after the actual case, and it keeps it vague and unknown for a while, because the autopsy report was like, it gave an hour span. So, you don't know until you start putting things together at the end. And then, of course, the tiger is fun. And Viola Cadaverini, she's interesting. You don't really hear much from her. I always felt that she was a very tragic character, because she felt so sad that she only, or Tiger only cared about her because of her grandfather. So that's like a little, I guess, she's a very random character in that way. Like she's not really looked into that much or whatever. It's just she's a catalyst for a lot of what happens. Even though she never takes a stand or anything, she's a witness for us, and we unlock a psyche lock for her. The game's always going to have the issues with like running around in circles and trying to figure out what to do or whatever, but it's something, especially in the original trilogy, that you just got to kind of deal with. Things lighten up a little bit in the later games. They make it a little bit easier to know where you're supposed to go, to check off things that you've done, and to make it easier to get from place to place, because that's another thing. Like, I had to go to the restaurant in order to get to the kitchen. I had to go to the restaurant in order to get to the Vitamin Square, in order to get to the Tender Lender. Like, I couldn't just go from the restaurant to Tender Lender. I had to go to Vitamin Square and then Tender Lender. But anyway, all that's not important. The point is, the fact is, this was a good case. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. And we've closed case 3, and we've only got 2 cases left of this game, which is 2 cases left of the until the finale here, or 2 cases, the next case, and then the case after that will be the finale case of the trilogy, with the whole overarching plot, everything kind of coming together. We get to hear a lot. Turnabout Beginnings might give you a little bit of a hint on what's to come here. But before all of that, if you are watching these at upload time, please note I will be taking a short break for the holidays. I don't want to put a hiatus between case 4 and 5, so I'm pausing now. And the next case will start in January. So if you're watching these as they are being uploaded, might have to wait a little bit longer for the next case. But I will talk to you guys then.